Welcome to Through the Lens of Astrology. I'm your host, Heather Arielle, and today my guest is health and fitness instructor David Garcia. He's been doing this for over 25 years, so he has so much to share with us. He's also an avid meditator. He does TM like me, so this is the first time I've had someone on the program who does my meditation, so that's going to be really exciting to talk about. And we also have in common the magnificent, one of a kind, pioneering Paula Harris. Yeah, we're both really involved in her wonderful Starworks USA conferences. So we're going to talk about that too. So much to talk about. Let's get right to it. David, thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me, Heather. I'm excited for being here.
Now, you live near San Francisco, right? In where exactly?
Yes, so I'm 20
Okay.
minutes north from good old San Francisco in a county. It's called Marin County, and it's beautiful here, and it's a little different. The weather's a little different than San Francisco. It doesn't get foggy, and we have a lot drier, warmer weather. So yeah, I
Oh,
love it.
and I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, so we live in very different places. Now, just to start us off, because during this pandemic, boy, it's been hard to stay healthy. We've developed a lot of bad habits, and now, everybody wants to get back out. People are getting the vaccine, things are moving. So just give us a little feedback about what are some things that you've noticed and what is some of the things that you've been doing to help people stay fit
Yes,
during this time?
thank you. First, I want to say I just got my second vaccine today, so
Woohoo!
I'm really
Okay.
excited. So yeah, so I can relax a little bit now. So yes, Heather, it's really sad that a lot of people have just been basically hunkered down, staying in their homes because they're afraid to get out. And I really emphasize that we need to get outside and soak up that vitamin D that a lot of our bodies are lacking. So get outside and get the vitamin D and power walk or jog or get on your bicycle again. It's okay to be outside. We need that the sunlight and like I said, the vitamin D that a lot of us are lacking right now, and just start moving more because a lot of people have put on somewhere between 20 to 30 pounds of fat, and we want to start you know, losing that fat and burning the fat by exercising and obviously eating healthy and start loving yourself again because
Oh, and
it's a
loving
terrible time.
yourself. I just love that you said that. That's what we always have to come back to that, right? Love
Absolutely.
yourself. A lot of the way that I look about astrology, I say love your chart.
Yeah,
View your chart as a beautiful gift you give yourself. And I think
love
you have
that.
to view your body as a beautiful gift you give yourself. Honor it and a way to really love yourself. You're right. Take care of yourself. And a big part of this program is all about self-care. How do we take care of ourselves? What are some easy things that my listeners can do that to just immediately incorporate into their daily lives? So what's
Mhm.
one of the first things? So if you feel like, okay, somebody's listening, they've,
Yes.
it's just they don't have any energy now,
Right.
they want to go back out, but they're, oh, okay, I've really gotten into some bad habits. What's the first thing they should do?
The first thing I would recommend is less time on the computer and on the
Mm.
social media. A lot of us are spending too much time, and especially right before you go to bed, you want to make sure your electronics are off about an hour before you hit the hay. And the reason why is because it just stimulates your brain, and it's harder to get into that REM sleep. You know, the rapid eye movement sleep that we really need to get full benefits of recovery and our body, our cells to regenerate and so forth. So and go to bed at a decent hour. By I mean by 10 is great, no later than 11, because again, the later you stay up, the less rest you'll get, and less deep rest. So make sure you have a good, comfortable pillow, and your bed's you're comfortable in your bed. And when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things that I recommend doing is getting a little bit of lemon water and drinking that. And usually, I'll make it warm. You don't want to squeeze a little bit of lemon in hot scalding water that just came off the stove, because that will kill all the vitamin C and the great benefits that lemon has. So squeeze it in warm water. I'll usually get like hot water, then I'll put a little extra filtered water in there, And filtered water, any filter is good. Also know that there's a lot of impurities in the water, like hexavalent chromium 6. Remember that great movie, Aaron Brockovich? Do you
Oh,
remember?
yes. Yes.
Oh, well, unfortunately, that horrible
Mm.
solvent is in all of our water. So filtered water, reverse osmosis, alkaline water. So I do the lemon water, and then I highly recommend meditating. There's all kinds of different types of meditations. I know you and I
Yeah.
share, we do the same type of meditation, which is TM, which is effortless and wonderful. So meditate and do this before work. Okay, so you do your meditation for about 20 minutes, and then go do your work, and then make time during the day to get outside, like I was mentioning, and getting some sunlight. And when I say sunlight, that means take your glasses off if you have sunglasses on, and take off your hat. And you want to get about 20 to 30 minutes of just pure sun. In other words, you want to make sure your arms, and if you have shorts on, that's great. That's how you absorb the vitamin D. And then after that, then you want to cover up, because we know that the sun is our friend, but also our foe if we get too much sun, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And then and follow an exercise routine. Mark your calendar, like I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those are my workout days, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Mark it down. If you have a hard time actually making the time, because a lot of us don't make time, and I don't have, I have to make time. You know, as far as myself and my wife, we definitely always make the time, because just like meditation, it's a great de-stressor. And if you don't have the self-discipline, Heather, I highly recommend hiring a fitness trainer, a local, at your local gym, a personal trainer, or maybe if you're not real comfortable going to a gym, you can also do it via Zoom. And
I was going to ask about that. So
mhm,
you are obviously doing Zoom sessions with your clients. So
right.
how has that been going, and what are some of the differences that you've noticed?
Yes. So again, for those folks that don't want to go to the gym, we set up a time, kind of like what we did here. You know, we set up an hour, and they call in, and I run them through some yoga stretches and some calisthenics floor exercises. And some of them don't have weight equipment. So, and that's okay, because there's so many different exercises you can do on your chair, on the side of the couch. And all you need really is like a yoga mat, or just something soft to do the exercise on the ground. And so we run them, I run them through, and I do them with the person, so they can see, you know, I don't just say, okay, sit down and give me 100 one hand push.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me. I don't respond well to that.
Exactly. So I'm actually on the floor working out with the person, so they can watch and I can demonstrate proper form, because the last thing we want to do is have someone blow out a hamstring or pull a pectoralis major muscle when we're working out. So, and so, yeah, so at the end, and then we talk about, you know, their diet, and I give them any advice as far as whatever they need to keep them motivated for during the week. And then we schedule our next session. So it really makes them be responsible for their health and responsible for themselves, to say, okay, at 3 o'clock, I've got to work out, or at 2 p.m. Friday, I'm going to do that power walk, and I'm going to check back in with David, and then we're going to do our half-hour calisthenics. So, yeah,
And
and
I
it's working out pretty well.
and I love that you said you don't have to have weights. All right. So there's no excuse. There are plenty of things that you can do in your home once you connect with someone like you. I love that. And you know what? The privacy, some people may like that. They may feel, I don't really want to go out in front of a lot of people and do all of this. So then you get this private experience, and you don't have to have weights, so you can work with just what you have. I think that that's great.
Yes,
Um,
the mind is a terrible thing to waste, right, Heather?
yeah.
The body is as well, and we have to take care of, like we take care of our mind, we have to take care of our body, because we only get one. And it's all about quality of life. We want to have a great quality of life. And if your back is hurting because you're sitting too long in the computer chair, or because and what happens a lot of times is people, they don't start doing like these great core exercises for their spine and their back until they get hurt. And the bottom line is, you need to do these core exercises regularly, so your back doesn't, so you don't throw out your back. So it's just like those exercise that you need to do to keep you strong, right, and healthy, so you can go mountain bike, climbing with your friends or go on a backpack trip or go water skiing or, go out for a nice swim and just feel healthy and strong. It's quality of life is just so important. Yes.
Well, you brought up such a great point about we often wait until we are injured, right? Until there is something wrong, until we are sick to think, oh, gee, maybe I should take better care of myself. And what we really should be embracing is that preventive quality of let's try to get healthy, stay healthy, and not wait to take care of ourselves until
Absolutely.
something goes wrong.
You're right. And with cardiovascular, well, we know COVID deaths are way up there. It has overcome cardiovascular disease, but heart attacks, as we know, is right up there next to COVID right now as the number one killer. And you know, eating healthy, exercising, it's so important, and we can thwart and get those numbers much lower if people just would again love themselves more and be more mindful of what they're putting in their mouth, because what they're eating, what they're consuming on a regular basis is what's killing us, and that's the bottom line. So being mindful of setting up our exercise routine, meditation, and also eating healthy and planning out your day so you can put good food so we can repair this body, right?
Oh, yes. Now, and do you believe in karma in that we reincarnate?
Yes, I mean, I've thought about that a lot.
When you talked about how we get the one body, it
Right.
really is once you believe in if you believe that we're incarnating, that we incarnate with this body, we really do need to treat it as a temple because we come in to have certain experiences. And so by taking care of our physical body, we want to be around as long as we can. So we give our souls a beautiful chance to grow
I
and
love
have
that.
the experiences that we're supposed to have.
Yes, absolutely. It's so important.
Now you do these Ironman races. You're kind of incredible. Yeah. So what is that like to train for and just describe that experience? Because I'm just in awe that you can do these ultra endurance races.
Mhm. Well, I first want to just mention that it's just it's extreme. What I do is extreme, and I don't want people to think that you have to sign up for an Ironman race to actually to be healthy and strong. So the main thing is just I like to sign up for races because it gives me something to shoot for because I'm very competitive. I used to be a competitive racquetball player back in the day, and when I got out of racquetball in my early 20s, a friend of mine introduced me to triathlons. So I became a triathlete because I like, wow, this is great. I can swim, bike, and run, and then do weights and do yoga and meditate, and it's a good variety, and it's great for the body because you're working all kinds of different systems. You're working the fast twitch muscle fibers, the slow twitch muscle fibers. These are the ones that that we use for explosive type movements, and then they're the slow for high endurance aerobic activities. So I kind of got hooked on doing these competitions, and I did a half Ironman about 12 years ago, and then I did a full Ironman, and then I got hooked,
Oh,
and then I got into running as well. So I like it because it's just a test, and I have a lot of students that follow me, and I want them to know that at any age you can do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it. And if you keep your body, this temple, like you said, this healthy and strong, sky's the limit.
oh.
And an Ironman is 140-mile race, and you swim 2.4 miles, and you get on your bike and you bike 112 miles, and you get off the bike, and then you run a 26.2-mile marathon. So it's one after the other, and it's a great test of your endurance. But it's hard on the body, especially at my age of 55. So I kind of taken a little break from the Ironmans, and my wife still lets me run marathons there. So hopefully, the Boston Marathon will happen this year, and that'll be great. So but I enjoy running. I don't like to run on the pavement too much. When I run in the hills where the hills are alive, right? and it makes me feel good to be in nature and see the trees and so forth. And it's easier on your joints, on your back and your knees. And if you don't have hills to run, well, you can power walk, with some good shoes on the pavement, or you can like go to the local high school where there's a nice soft track to because I'm all about keeping our joints strong, because as we get older, as we know, our joints we lose a little muscle mass, and a lot of that strain on the hips and the knees can be detrimental. So the point I'm making here is just make a commitment to exercise. It doesn't have to be something like an Ironman.
Oh no, I hear you. I mean, I just do a lot of walking. I don't do
Good, and
anything
that's
remotely
wonderful.
extreme.
My wife is an avid walker, and in fact, I have a hard time keeping up with her because her stride is so great, and I'm not used to power walking. So she pushes me when she's walking. So
Oh.
great job, Lori. Keep it up.
That's great. No, you make, boy, do you two make a fantastic team.
Thank
Now,
you.
and one thing I like that you brought up walking in the hills and nature. That's something that I find so rejuvenating. I'm always telling everybody, if you can spend time in nature, do it. Make the effort, whether you're walking, exercising, or just sitting under a tree and just experiencing
Oh,
the
I,
rejuvenating sounds of nature, the fresh air, all of it, grounding. I
mm,
really find that so healing.
the grounding. I'm glad you mentioned grounding because we spend too much time in our shoes, right? And we need to get our shoes off, get your feet in the sand on the beach, or just somewhere in a field where there's not obviously little pokey things, pokey, but
Exactly.
it's loose, you can get out
Choose your
and
spot.
you get this positive electrons from the earth and walk around and just feel nature, feel the wind in your air, hear the birds. A lot of us are in you're mentioning New York when you used to live in New York City.
Yes.
You're in this concrete jungle, and when you're outside, it is just fantastic because that's where our roots are from, right? From being in nature. In fact, in the summertime, um, I love to put my tent that has a mesh that's open to the stars out in the backyard, and I camp in the backyard for most of the summer. I love waking up to the stars. I mean, not the stars. I love going to bed, looking at the stars and waking up and hearing all the nature. I've got this big redwood tree in our backyard, and it's just being in touch with nature. We spend too much time inside. So everybody out there, this summer, get a nice tent that's open and put it outside and get a nice Tempur-Pedic pad that you can sleep on. And believe me, you're going to sleep so well. The Native Americans had it right, where
Oh,
they
yes.
sleep under the stars, and I can't think of a better place to be. In fact, my wife bought this little placard that's above our sliding windows here that leads to the outside, and it says, "Let's sleep under the stars." And we all need to sleep under the stars more because it's just very wonderful, and who knows what we'll see.
That's for sure. And it's all about connection. I love everything that you just talked about. If we take your advice and we do that, we become more connected to our environment. And
Yes.
that's what it's all about, that we can become very disconnected. You started by talking about the technology, right? We're in our
Yeah.
phones, we're in this, and we need to become connected to one another, connected to the world. And I always like to say, whenever I'm out, I just always imagine that I am kissing the earth with my feet.
I
It's like,
love that.
and if you think about that, if like, oh, kiss, 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 kisses are so nice, right? That's love, right? You want to love your environment. You want to
Yes.
love the world. And
Yes.
so we have to consciously love.
Yes. And there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things, not just for their bodies, but also for the world. Like you said, they're composting, which we need more fertile soil that help, take the CO2 out of the air. And people are recycling, and people are demanding that we have, politicians that really care about the earth, because we need to take care of Mother Earth. And we're in a lot of trouble right now, as you know, with all the problems.
Oh my gosh. And that really is, even according to astrology, there's something very special called Regulus, and it is in the sign of Virgo. It's going to be there for a very long time. And
Mhm.
and Virgo is all about how can we be guardians of the environment, and how
Yes.
can we find ways to be of true service to humanity. And so it really is, and that degree, we're supposed to we admire it and we're supposed to live up to it. It's sort
Mhm.
of, it's sort of saying, if you can really honor the highest manifestation of Virgo energy, boy,
Mhm.
that's what needs to be done right now. So everything that you're talking about is in
Mhm.
total alignment with really one of the highest energies going on right now.
Yes. Well, great point, Heather. Yes.
Now, you and I, as I've said, we both do TM. I mean, I'm so excited. You're the first person I've had on. It's like my publisher's a Buddhist, and so we talk a lot about Buddhism on the show because she's always coming on. Now, all right. So where do we begin? I want to know. uh, what was your experience when you first received your TM technique?
Hmm.
What
So
was your experience? Because it's so personal.
yes. So first of all, I want to back up a little bit. So my friend Jeff Rice introduced me to TM about almost 16 years ago, and he told me about the benefits and how he was blown out of the water when he started doing TM. How it released or reduced his anxiety, reduced his stress, and I said this is something that I want to learn, and also I want to bring my family into it as well. So my wife and I learned about 16 years ago, and we both got our mantra and we started doing it. And we just, it's just becomes our regular ritual. Like I said, when we wake up in the morning and then we do it in the afternoon, and it just helps you, de-stress. It helps with anxiety, it helps centers yourself. It makes you feel just really good because it shows you that, you're loving yourself and you're doing something that is the vibrations help the neighborhood and people in your county and so forth because of the wonderful peacefulness and how it makes you feel afterwards and it creates a lot of great euphoria in your mind, and it just makes you feel really good when you're done. So the very first experience, it was effortless. That's what's really nice about transcendental meditation is you don't try to just clear your mind. You let those thoughts come and they go, and you keep with your mantra, and it's just very effortless and simple. So, yeah, and it's like a workout, for my mind, for my brain.
Exactly. Oh, I
And
love that. I love that. Yeah, it's the
I don't
nourishment
have
thing.
time.
This is
Yes.
gonna keep your mind and that is just beautiful. Yeah, it's gonna keep your mind
Mhm.
healthy. It
Yes.
really does heal the mind. And I love that you said effortless because I've
Mhm.
tried boy, have I tried a lot of different meditations. And
Mhm.
it really, I mean, some of those are okay, stare at the dot,
Right.
and
Or
I
the
mean
candle, or the candle,
I
right?
found them quite stressful. And so this was
It
the
does just
first
the opposite,
one.
right?
What'd you say?
It does just the opposite. Instead
It
of
does just the
calming you,
opposite. At
instead
the
of
end of
calming
it,
you.
I feel like, yeah, okay, now I really need to meditate. It's like I need a massage now. Oh my gosh. It was the first time that I was like, oh wow. Thoughts. And so you have a Gemini ascendant, and I have a lot of Gemini. And then David has an Aquarius sun, a Libra moon. Woo, you got a lot of air going on. Air signs. I just please meditate, really, because
Yeah.
air is mental. Air is all about ideas. Thoughts are things. If you have air in your chart, you're a thinker and you're going to be thinking all the time. Those thoughts are going to be there. And how wonderful to know I can have them and I
Yeah.
can still have a successful meditation. And it's not about, it doesn't matter how many thoughts you have during it. They're going to come, they're going to go, and you still feel rejuvenated. So the
Yes.
first time you did it, I want to get to the first time because I mean, I've had childhood trauma, and the first time I did the meditation, I cried like a baby.
Mhm.
And for the first week I did meditation, I cried every time. And I was a little concerned. I was like, oh, is this what it's going to be like? And then my instructor explained, no, you're unleashing profoundly deep levels of grief that
Absolutely.
you held.
Yes.
So I also wanted to sort of bring up, it's so personal that it works in that whatever trauma you have stored, whether it's grief, whether it's fatigue, exhaustion, stress, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever it is that you're storing, it
Yes.
will unleash it and unravel it in a healthy way that heals you. And
Yes.
so I just wanted and so you have different experiences. What was your first time like? What did you feel that you were releasing?
Definitely stress, right? And I've heard it described when people start doing meditation, like you said, you were very emotional. We all have levels and layers of stress on our body, and every time you meditate, you're taking a layer off your body. So it's kind of like peeling a tangerine, and then when you get down to the small piece there, or maybe an artichoke, something like that, where you're just pulling layers off and layers off. And then, so every time you do it again, it's a mega de-stressor. And so I had some, yeah, we all have stress. And when I first started meditating, I noticed that I was just feeling like floating on air, like, wow, this is great. And I don't want to leave this area because it's so nice. And you're just releasing all this anxiety. So yeah, it was, and like I said, very simple and just made me feel really good afterwards. I'm like, wow, this is great. And I never thought I could meditate. I never thought I could sit for 20 minutes and just close my eyes without, moving and being fidgety, but it actually works to our benefit.
That's a great point. I felt the same way. I
Mhm.
am always moving. I'm always fidgeting. I'm always talking. I was like, really? 20 minutes? I'm going to sit there and not move and not
Yeah.
talking. And it's absolutely right. It's so easy. It's so effortless. And it's also cumulative. And I thought that's a good point because people ask me a lot of questions about it. And the way that you describe the layers is exactly right, and to just go through the process and to know that each time you do it, you're going deeper and deeper, and it is cumulative, so you
Right.
don't judge the meditation. That's something I had to, because I would be a little
Yes.
hypercritical early on, and
We all do
you
that
don't judge
sometimes.
it.
Right.
Yeah, you don't judge it, you do it. It's
Mhm.
cumulative.
Right.
Now, okay, so one thing I've then added the pranayama, and then
Right.
I do the asanas, and I
Mhm.
do the meditation. I do that a couple times a day. But and then I have a night technique I do because they
Yes.
have advanced techniques right now. You far surpassed me. You have
Oh,
done the Siddha program. I'm so impressed. So tell me, what was that like to do the Siddha program?
yes. So my friend again, Jeff Rice, kept telling me, Dave, now it's time to do the sit-op program. And how much, you tell me how much you love regular TM right now. He says, but now once you add this, 2-year program, he says, it's going to take you to levels where you've never seen before. And, and I said, okay, I've got to learn. So my wife and I were fortunate enough to go a few years ago to Iowa, where they have the big Golden Dome, and we learned.
Fairfield, right?
Yeah,
Fairfield, Iowa.
Fairfield. Yeah, beautiful Fairfield, Iowa, with all the corn. Gorgeous place. And so we learned, became sitas, and yeah, it's amazing. So it just takes you to the next level, and it's amazing. And so you sit there and you do your TM, and then there's an extra component to it, and it's wonderful. It's very wonderful. Yes,
Well, I'm definitely going to do that at some point. That I
I
definitely,
highly
yeah,
recommend it. Yes,
you've
when you're
inspired
ready,
me.
Heather. There's no rush, but when you're ready. And it's
Now,
a little bit longer. So when you do when you're a sit-out, it's so normally meditation is about 20 minutes, and this adds maybe another 30 or 40 minutes. So you have to really plan your day.
right. You have to, I hear you. It's a commitment. I hear you. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Now, there are a couple of wonderful organizations. So David Lynch has a wonderful foundation, and it's all about getting TM in schools and getting TM to people who, veterans who have post-traumatic stress disorder. And
right.
you are part of, or you help, okay, Center for Wellness and Achievement in Education.
Yes,
And this is something that is around the San Francisco area, right?
that's
Okay, so
correct.
tell us about that, because this is an amazing program.
Yes, it is. So CWAE was founded by Laurent Valasek, and he's one of the world's best TM teachers, and Jeff Rice again. So they spearheaded the Center for CWAE, and it's a program to bring TM to schools, to inner city schools, to teach kids how to calm themselves, and basically to incorporate it in the school in the morning, and then in the afternoon to give them that little burst of extra energy, so when they go home and they can do their homework and so forth. So yeah, no, it's a great program. They not only did they bring it to the schools, but also they have camps that my wife Lori and I have helped run, um, meditation camps. And this is where the children will go to a camp for a week-long camp, and they'll learn in TM, and we teach them about the mind and body connection, how they connect, and how it's so important to be physically active, but also take the time to meditate. And so we do that. We also help with the retreats as well. So there are TM retreats through CWAE that you can go to on the weekend, and you do roundings. So you meditate, You eat healthy, and then you do, like you said, asanas, and we do incorporate yoga, and then you go and you practice, and you're doing lots of rounds of meditation, and it's just a way to like uh, get a not kickstart. Let's see, I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, just helps you progress and get
More
better.
rapidly. No,
Yeah.
I do retreats, and
Hmm.
they are amazing. There's something about having the intensive experience. It's whoo, it just pushes you. You're able to unravel a
Hmm.
lot more stress in a shorter
Right.
period of time.
Perfect. You said it very nicely. Yes, absolutely. And it's wonderful. So yeah, so we do that here in the Bay Area, and it's wonderful because, like you said, you get a lot done in a weekend, and it takes you to a new level. And then
Right.
afterwards, the next 3 or 4 days, and you're slowly coming down, but you're also doing your TM every day. But it's just you feel just wonderful and cleanse. It's like you're cleansing the body of that stress, the demons that we all carry inside of us. And also you're eating really healthy, like we're eating mostly plant-based foods that are just healing to the body.
Right. Now I know you do eat a plant-based diet, but when did that begin?
That began roughly about 4 to 5 years ago. And
Okay. And what was the catalyst? What was the final, trigger said, okay, I'm gonna do this now.
uh, well, mostly for health reasons, because of, well, we now know what's fed to our the cows and the chickens and the pigs and so forth. What they're giving them genetically modified foods. I don't know if you know this, Heather, but um, animals actually, they give animals more antibiotics than they do human beings. So they're full of antibiotics. They're full of they're giving them GMOs, and they have all these hormones. So when we eat that food, obviously we're putting that negative energy and all those pharmaceutical drugs also in our body. So for health reasons, and also heart disease, we talked about that as well, but also for the environment as well, because I'm like we mentioned earlier, I'm really concerned about what's going on and the CO2 effect. And it's really important that we make a stand and go, you know what? I'm going to eat healthier. And if you are a meat eater, then start eating less, because it's just better for your body, and it's better for the earth as well.
So then these retreats that you're doing with these children,
Mhm.
they're able to learn the meditation, and also they're receiving the healthy food. That's an amazing gift to these children.
Yes, and the kids love it, because a lot of them don't learn these subjects
Right.
in school. Schools don't really talk about meditation at all. They don't talk. I mean, they do have health classes that teach, what is considered a healthy diet, but they're kind of behind times, if you
Oh,
will.
for sure.
The research is there, and they're just not taking advantage of it. Really sad. Yeah. So these kids need to know what's considered healthy, how to read ingredients, how to go to the farmer's market and go, wow, this is better than foods that are traveling thousands and thousands of miles, because you're supporting local farms that are not spraying these horrible herbicides, pesticides in the food that directly get into our body, that I believe that's really contributing to why we have such high cancer rates, is the water and the food that we're eating that's actually killing us. Yes.
Just to read, this is a quote that if you go to Dr. Tony Nader's page on Facebook,
Hmm.
which I do follow, it's so beautiful about meditation. When we meditate, we gain inner strength, we gain inner creativity and intelligence, allowing us to act and think in accordance with the laws of nature, in accordance with the laws of nature
I love that,
that
Heather.
manage, right, that manage the entire universe. And that's really important. It's how can we become in alignment with natural law,
Yes. Wow.
right?
That's beautiful.
And
Nicely
that's
said.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so this whole thing of love, I even changed my background. I got the grass, I got all of that. It's let's bring in that connection to the
Absolutely.
planet, the earth, and nature. And it does. And so meditation, it makes that connection easier, and we just all become more connected.
Yes. Yes, exactly. I tell my students that we are connected, and some of the younger kids have a hard time understanding. And I just said, your thoughts and what you do is it affects me, it affects my daughters, it affects my aunt and uncles, my parents. So because, like you said, we're connected, all of us, and it's once you understand that concept, it's easier to understand why we need to meditate and lower crime rates. I don't know if you knew this, Heather, but they've done studies where when there's big groups of people meditating in a crime-ridden city, the numbers of homicides and violent crimes actually go down. It was measured, and they go down when big groups of people meditate. That's why I really I want to emphasize to when you meditate in a group, it's just more powerful. Or if you don't have a group, maybe with someone else. Like I like to meditate with my daughters and my wife, and it's just more powerful, and you go deeper down because that connection, you're all on the same wavelength, if you will.
Oh, I love that you brought that up. And it's something I talk about a lot here on my show because I do group oracle spreads and things like that. And I'm always saying, okay, if you're listening to this show, that's how you form a group. And when you meditate together, the energy grows exponentially.
Yes,
And that's what you're talking about. The energy
absolutely.
grows and that puts out huge healing waves. And you're doing an amazing thing by meditating with your family.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
Heather. Wonderful.
And the
There's
studies, yeah,
nothing
there's
better.
so many studies that support, and the studies that support the impact of when they do, when children start to meditate in schools, or the study that you just quoted. There's a lot of studies that really do support that power.
Yes, truancy goes down, and
Mhm.
the fighting goes down, and the kids are just much more centered and relaxed. And as you know, in schools, the kids, there's bullies and there's a lot of name calling, and a lot of that starts to dissipate when everybody's on the same page and they go, we're on this boat together. Let's get along, and let's together, let's meditate together. And it's just a beautiful thing. And the schools are missing, a lot of the public schools are missing the boat. They just don't want to bring it in because there's all these horrible just they have a bunch of misinformation out there that it's a cult, it's a
Mhm.
religion. And
Mhm.
as you know, TM is non-religious. There's nothing religious about it. They've been doing it for thousands of years, and it really helps you and helps you recover from post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety that we have in our bodies. I mean, and we all have that stress every day.
Now that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, you can be an atheist and the
Mhm.
TM will work for you as well as it works for me. It has
Right.
nothing, yeah, the TM technique, that's a great point that you brought up. It is not connected to anything religious or spiritual. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Yes.
that's a great point. And I also like that you brought up the point of the group in that, once you wake up to the fact that your actions and your thoughts
Hmm.
impact others.
Right.
Ooh, that's a big revelation. And
Absolutely.
once you do that, it just becomes so much harder to hurt people or bully someone or do that because it's all of a sudden you're hurting yourself,
Yeah.
or you have a negative thought and you're like, oh, that's going to hurt me and that's going to hurt people I love. And so that's really more important than ever right now to strengthen our connection to the group, because especially in a time of crisis, that's how we're going to get through something. We all got to come together. And you've got that beautiful Aquarian sun, and you even use the Aquarian maxim, we're all in this together.
Yes.
That's something that Aquarians, they get more easily than any other zodiac sign.
Yes.
Deeply, naturally humanitarian. And
Yes.
it's just natural to be like, oh yeah, it's all about the group.
Absolutely. I think it's time to sing my song. All right. When the moon
Oh.
is in the seventh house and Jupiter. I'm just joking. My friend Michael Pritchard put it really. He made this quote. He said, hurt people," and there's so many people out there who are damaged goods. And especially it happens a lot, when kids are being picked on in school. And so when they've been picked on and they're hurt, they want to put their hurt on others. So they play toxic tag, and adults play toxic tag too. There's a lot of people who are unhappy, and learning meditation will make you happier, and then you will stop playing toxic tag with people. So it's just so important to
Oh.
folks to
David,
do
I
this. Yeah.
just love how you phrase that. Yeah, toxic tag and trauma. I mean, we're really talking about trauma. We all experience, some of us experience more than others, but we all are going to experience some adversity, some trauma, and we need to have the tools
Yeah.
to develop true resiliency. And
Absolutely.
that is really, I mean, that's what I feel the technique is more than anything else. It allows you to be resilient. And then you get your soul grows and you get to reach your full potential because that trauma becomes toxic, as you said, and it holds us back.
Right, right. And if you live with somebody, it's so important that you try to get them on board, because there are times where I feel like I don't have time, and then my wife Lori will say, "David, it's time to meditate. We need to." But you're right. You're right. I forgot to do it at this point. I'm going to stop and do it. There's a lot of people say they don't have time to meditate. Well, I don't have time not to meditate. So when you have someone in
That's
your house that reminds you, then it's good, because when we're done, I'm going to do my meditation.
right.
And she's going to hold me to that. And that's
Oh,
great.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love this because I haven't really been able to talk about this on the show since, no one has come on who's really been as into this as I am. So this is just like such a special treat. Now, you also incorporate astrology into your life. What first drew you, interested you in the topic?
Well, the first time I was introduced to astrology really was when I had a conversation with you, Heather, and
Oh
yeah,
my
and I
God.
saw you speak at Paula Harris's yeah, Starworks conference, and so I was really moved by what you were talking about, as far as how having a reading can help you gain awareness as to who you are, and how it may help you discover the person who you want to become. And that was very powerful to me when you said that. So when I heard that, I'm like, wow, I need to talk to Heather, and that's when we set up our chance to have a reading. And your reading was spot on, and it really helped me discover my passion for what I'm doing right now. So
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I forgot that. All right. So I was your introduction. Okay.
yes.
Well, you've got that, that Aquarian sun, and I've just got your chart right here. You've got that Aquarian sun and Mercury, and Aquarius is all about being open to alternatives and alternative healing modalities
Mhm.
and unique approaches and deeply humanitarian approaches to life. And so you really do resonate so beautifully to that Aquarian energy and your Gemini ascendant. My goodness, we're both talking bugs. So like we get together and it's just, we're just chatting it up because we've got that Gemini overlay. Um, and the Jupiter on your ascendant is so beautiful for getting the word out and teaching. That is a classic signature to be a teacher or a teacher, a politician. You got a message, you got something to say, you're going to say it. And
Yes.
that's beautiful. And that, oh yeah. So it was a very exciting, it was a very exciting chart. I remember because just it was so in alignment with the energy that we need now.
Mhm.
We're in the age of Aquarius. Now, some people will say we aren't, but I'm in the Mary Kaswani camp. We are. We're there. We need to honor the Aquarian ideal. And that's also reform energy. And you're all about really how can we make things better for everyone and taking these positive actions to make change. So
Yes.
that reform energy is very strong. And that's so you're honoring the age of Aquarius. And then the Virgo energy, um you've got very strong Virgo energy, making a hard aspect to your Gemini ascendant. When we make squares, it wakes us up. And it's very dynamic. It's hard not to take action when you have a strong square in your chart. And so that you have Virgo transformative energy in your chart, making a very strong action to your ascendant. And so you really are trying to do things to make the world a better place, like connect to nature, right, and honor the planet. And what are we, so it's really beautiful.
And I like to people pleaser too. I like to make people feel good and give them a compliment. Give 5, 10 compliments to people every day, because it makes me feel good. It makes them feel good. It's so important that we do this, and we don't do enough of that, right?
I could not agree more. I feel love is limitless,
Hmm.
right?
It
Love
is.
is limitless. So we can really give love to everyone. It's not as if, oh, I got to save my love from my honey bun, or I got to save my love for, you got enough love for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
and to
important.
spread it, and then it grows, right? We share love, and then that wakes up love in that person that maybe they didn't even know that they could. Oh, their heart center opens. I talk a lot about the heart center and how can we open the heart center. That's just saying, how can we feel more deeply and for more people?
Yes.
And you are right. When we compliment others, when
Mhm.
we share our love, and that's another way of saying, how can we celebrate someone else, right? And it's
Right.
saying, I see you and you're beautiful.
Yes.
And guess what? They become beautiful.
Yes.
That's how that works.
Yes.
So I think that's a beautiful message. We need to really look at people, see people, and make them, share the love and help them to feel good, because then it comes right back at you.
Yes, and see the good in people. Like I said, it's so important to make them feel good, and because a lot of people don't have self love and they don't feel worthy. And you go, you know what? Thank you for, I'll tell a friend like, thank you for teaching me that, or I didn't never saw that in that light, and so I really appreciate it. And just let them know that you honor what they're telling you, and what they're telling you is important, and that they are an important person in this in the cosmos, right? Because we're all connected.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up, because we really do. And I have talked about this on the show. We really live in a narcissistic age.
Yes.
And, there's just a level of narcissism that's a little out of control. And the ego, right? The currency that most people deal in is the currency of the ego. And it's all about, I got to protect myself. I don't want to be, it's this fear of embarrassment, or this fear of, it's just the ego, the ego. And when you start to really make love your currency, when you make that, it's like everything changes, and nobody can even embarrass you at that point,
Totally.
because that's not what you're dealing in,
Mhm.
and so
Well,
yeah. And the regulus that we talked about, that is sort of the opposite of the narcissism. And so that's a major astrological shift of energy that we are actually going to start to celebrate, people who resonate to Virgo energy, of the desire to be of service. That even
mm,
you don't have to have Virgo energy in your chart, but you have to have a desire to be of service and a desire to protect the environment. I mean, you look at Greta Thunberg, she's been elevated, and and she should be a celebrity, right? I'll stand in line to meet her. I'll stand in line to shake her hand and say, thank you for what you're doing.
great messages. Exactly. Exactly. Great messages. I love it.
I do want to bring up Paula Harris, because boy, are we fans of her. Now, I've spoken several times at her wonderful Starworks USA conferences.
Mhm.
You're there every single year because you're a co-host, right? So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about now just remind me, how did you meet Paula?
Yes. So I met Paula probably about 15 years ago at Contact in the Desert,
Okay.
and in Joshua Tree, and I heard her speak, and she's a great speaker, and I loved what she was saying about the cosmos and the universe, and so I bought a couple books, and that's where we became friends at Contact in the Desert. And she asked me to help her with her conference. She said she loved my energy, and I loved her energy as well. And I love her quest and how she wants to teach people about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Why they're here, what their intent is. And so forth. And so sometimes I help with camera work. I help introduce people on stage. I help pick up guests. I kind of do a little bit of everything for her. And no, it's wonderful what she's doing, and she's helping raise the consciousness of people out there, and it's so important that people learn that we are not alone, and that it starts with us. Paula's conferences are so big on working on, like we're talking about, yourself, and to love yourself, and to meditate, and to be peaceful, because that's what everybody needs to do, is to become more raise their vibrations and become more you know thinking about more consciousness. It's so important to have that.
No, it's a unique angle. I mean, that's one reason I love her conferences. She covers the consciousness angle, and she's always bringing the most amazing people with all the cutting edge knowledge. Who are some of your favorite presenters that she's had over the
Let's
years?
see.
Because
There's
you've been to every one.
right. This one lady is Heather Ariel or Arielle spoken in there. Yeah, Heather, you do a great job, and I want to put a great plug in for you. And I know you're coming back, so you do a great job. I mean, the speakers are amazing. Ricardo Gonzalez,
Oh my gosh, yes.
who's yeah, he's a wonderful speaker. Grant
Now, were
Cameron.
you? Oh, I'm sorry, totally interrupted
Oh,
you.
go
Okay,
ahead.
Grant Cameron is amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
finish your thought, and then we're gonna go back to Ricardo. Go ahead.
Yes. So these are like a few of the people that really stand out. Ricardo Gonzalez, Grant Cameron, Stephen
Yes.
Greer. Also, Stephen Greer's work. He does a great job as well. If you like these subjects, it's a must. You need to come to her conference. It's in Laughlin, Nevada, and it's the weekend of November 12th. I believe, yeah, 12th through the 14th at the beautiful Aquarius Resort in Laughlin, Nevada. And Laughlin is about an hour and 15 minutes from Las Vegas. And the speakers this year, a lot of great speakers. Yeah, Paul Hynek, the son of Alan Hynek, History's Channel, Project Blue Book. We have Steve Bird, who will be on the stage as well. Actor writer known for Skinwalker Ranch, Paul Smith, Stargate, Psychic Espionage, Remote Viewing. Grant Cameron, who we spoke about, talking about Beyond Presidential. He has his own radio show. Karen Gresham, a great clinical hypnotherapist. Egan Kragel, Sid Goldberg, great friend of ours. He's Emmy Award-winning director, writer, and producer. And the list goes on. There's a lot of great speakers this year, and so we're hoping that it's going to take off, and
Oh
we
yeah,
can do it
just
in person. Yes.
wonderful people. And we've had Karen Gresham Nickel on the program, and she did a wonderful Cosmic Forces with us,
Oh,
and
cool.
her guided meditations are magical. And often when I'm there, she begins the whole conference with a beautiful guided meditation.
She does. Yes. Yes. No, she does a great job. She does readings also.
Oh yes, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of like an area we can go into and have readings done. And I know you've done some readings there before too,
Yeah.
Heather. And there's books and there's posters and pictures and all kinds of really cool you know things that you can buy from her conference as well. So yeah,
And you have access to everyone. That's also, I mean, it's a real community,
it
and everybody wants to be connected and talking to each other. So it's a wonderful, loving environment.
this. And what's really nice about Paula's conference is that you only have one speaker on the stage at a time.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about missing somebody, like maybe speaking like in another room, or so you get their full attention, and it goes one speaker after the other, and it just flows really nice. And Paula has so much to bring, and she talks about her experiences as well. Yeah.
Now, did you participate? I know because I had Paula on the program right after she went to one of Ricardo Gonzalez's meditations for
Mhm.
peace. Were you at that last one with Paula?
Yes. So we go to
Oh, okay.
Mount Shasta every year, and Ricardo Gonzalez, who is a experiencer himself, he comes, and people come from all over the world, and we have a big group, and we meditate for world peace. We meditate for healing of the planet, like if the planet's on fire, there's a lot of fires and so forth. We incorporate that in our thoughts to help extinguish fires, and we want things to get better, and mostly just peace on the planet.
Okay, so we're almost out of time, but before we go, I would love for you to just take us through what are some more of your favorite self-care rituals, anything that my listeners could maybe immediately incorporate into their daily lives, because that's a big part of the program.
Yes. I think if you have never started an exercise routine, this is the time to do it. Um, you can take yoga classes if you're not big on going out and taking a yoga class. There's a lot of great yoga classes on YouTube. There's Gaia TV, and just start moving and stretching, because It's so important that we move. When we stop moving, that's when our joints start to get weak, and you start having back problems. And back problems are so prevalent in today's society. So start today. Start it and make a pact with yourself that I'm going to start doing yoga. Like Heather said, I'm going to start taking my walks. I'm going to start being more mindful of eating foods that are healing. Like look up superfoods on the internet, and you'll get a list of foods like goji berries and yams and sweet potatoes, beets. Why do we need to eat these kind of foods? And just start going to the local farmers market and hand picking your foods, taking them home, and cooking them, not in canola oil or corn oil, but avocado or coconut oil, good oils. Start drinking more water. Try to drink a couple quarts of water a day. Get that lemon water in the morning. And if when you have a chance, if you can, call your local TM office and go in for just an introductory lecture to find out what it's all about. There's other types of meditations out there as well as a starter that you can just start. You can start with yourself by just closing your eyes for 5 or 10 minutes every morning and just relaxing and turning down the volume. And these are just simple things that we can do to help us get back on the track so we can start healing, and we can shed those unwanted calories and fat. And drinking lots of water will help do that. Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're right. It's all about living consciously, being present with our energy, and
Mhm.
everything that you just described is going to help us do that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, David Garcia, now how can, if somebody, I'm sure some of my listeners are going to want to, get a Zoom session to get healthy. How can they find out about your services?
So they can email me if they need help with an exercise routine or nutrition. They can get a hold of me at David Garcia CPR, as in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, at Comcast.net. David Garcia CPR at Comcast.net. Also, they can text message me or call me on my cell phone number 415-710-8027. If you need information about TM or exercise, just let me know. I can help.
Oh, that is wonderful. This has been such a treat for so many reasons, but I think that was an amazing connection that we were able to make about TM. And I think because people ask me these questions all the time, so I just love that you were so open about what the technique means for you, what it's done for you, how you process it, because I'm always trying to express it. And I just felt so appreciative of how open you were about it. I think that's going to help a lot of people.
I hope so, Heather.
Well, I'm going to leave us all today with a quote by Dr. Tony Nader that really captures, I think, the essence of meditation and why it is so rejuvenating. Don't chase after your fulfillment. The search for the highest value, the search for truth, for answers about life, are not to be found on the outside, but inside, within ourself. That's our show. Until next time, enjoy and embrace transformation.